Welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot. I'm your host. I'm Darren Miller. We are now live streaming after what was bound to happen at some point. LAFC has finally lost an MLS match. I will likely not be joined by Travis Helwig, my co-host. He's out of town. He missed a good one to miss. If you're just joining us, say hi in the comments. We've got a link to join us on the show. If you'd like to join us on the show, blow off some steam. Tell us your happy foot and all of your sad foots. It's foots plural. I've decided. Boy, that was a tough one, but it's kind of just like how the tough kind of PK at the end there is just. I guess that's gonna have to happen. Like, what a dumb way to lose. I'll wait for a couple minutes while people still file in. Let's see what's going on here. Joey, I see you off stage here. I'll get you on in just a second. Thank you for coming on. All right. Got a couple people in the chat. Not everyone's thrilled, I guess. Who'd have thought? Oh, man. Just, you never love for a live stream chat to just start out with a crying emoji, but here we are. Oh man. J140 says sad foot snooze fest, Sifu being Sifu. Travis R says sad foot losing our first MLS match of the season. Obviously, happy foot. The Yahoo Almada, Bawanga owned this league. Yeah, okay. We got some bright spots to talk about for sure. Yeah. J140 says happy foot nada. All right. Joey's waiting. Let's bring Joey on the podcast here. Joey and maybe Danny.
Welcome. Maybe Danny. I don't know what I did with him.
Thank you for joining us. It looks like, are we at the game?
Yeah, we showed up en masse, and rumor has it that we were at some point like pretty much overpowering the San Jose fans. Just checking too, is my audio garbage or?
Your audio's actually okay, surprisingly okay.
Surprisingly okay compared to last time.
We're doing it. I'm glad you made the trip. There was a point on the broadcast where you could hear the San Jose Ultras chanting "We can't hear you." And it felt like a weird thing to highlight for the commentators on the game because it was like it was going back and forth the whole game.
Yeah, are we sure that was the San Jose Ultras? Because we definitely chanted that ourselves a few times.
Oh, really? Maybe they were just attributing it to them, but it was really that'd be great.
I got some good pictures of the stadium too. There's a whole upper ring of Levi Stadium with nobody sitting in it, and then we're one section above that even. So like. This was really, I think, kind of a step beyond in terms of relegating us to the upper realms. But yeah, we still showed up and were loud. Yeah.
There was some great photos and footage on Twitter. It looked like we really had numbers.
Yeah. So instant reaction from you, Darren, for the PK. Danny was pretty pissed off. Do you think reasonable PK call? Should they not have no video review? That was what Danny said. Just make us feel better. Give us a VAR.
I think you gotta at least do a VAR. That was such a weak tackle. It was all timing. It was a normal. The slide was fine, and then he just went. I get it. Not in the box, I wouldn't be complaining, right? So you just kind of have to accept it. But it wasn't a dirty slide at all. And then he just I guess there's a leg here. I might as well trip over it, you know?
Yeah. Calls really are not going our way. I think we're kind of showing that consistently.
Yeah, that was not. It was tough because I think Maldonado had a pretty solid game, except for the last couple minutes there where he kind of fell apart a little bit.
Well, I also feel like I've been a long simp for a while, and I know that Travis was finally starting to come around on him. But, yeah, we'll come back from it. Like you said, it was bound to happen.
It's got to happen at some point. We're not gonna have a perfect season, but I mean, it's also
we might want.
We had the early goal and the early equalizer, and then it's a bullshit PK. It happens to be that late in the game. What are you gonna do? I don't know. It's not a tactical thing. It's not a strategy thing. It's just the timing of everything just got fucked up. I can't be too upset.
Simulation there as well,
Yeah, sure. Do you have an official happy foot and sad foot for the record?
My official sad foot is we brought beach balls and we were planning on wreaking a little bit of havoc once LAFC started running up the score, and that didn't pan out. So I'm going home with beach balls that I wasn't planning on. I smuggled them into the stadium. You heard it here, Santa Clara cops. I got them into your stadium, and I didn't get to use them. So.
That is a very sad foot.
Yeah, a miserably sad foot.
Taking them, you don't expect to come home with the beach balls that you bring to the stadium. You expect to not have them.
And happy foot. I mean, I think the 32-52 left it all out on the field. The team came over and gave us our due, and
That's cool.
We'll pick ourselves up and brush ourselves off, and we're 2 games in hand. I commented on your last YouTube video, right? That means we have 2 games to play.
Oh, we're losing you.
Up with the, oops. Yeah, that's what I get for walking down. Oh, 4 flights of stairs that they put us on.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah, but we got time to make it up in the Western Conference.
Oh yeah, and I think to be represented that well for a loss, I think helps keep things moving. I think to go out like a lonely loss is that much worse. So,
Danny, do you have an official happy?
Here we go. You say I put it in the chat.
Buwanga got a goal,
right?
A
Buwanga blast.
Sadfoot, he didn't get more than 1 goal. One Buwanga blast, boing boing.
Yeah, we did our bunny ears, but
I don't know why everyone wasn't doing the bunny ears. I don't.
Maybe
you didn't
that's
have
why
the whole
stadium
stadium going with bunny ears. We got a few things in the comments.
Yeah, Danny is Daniel in the chat, and I'm Joseph in the chat, because our Google profiles have our full names, but that's us. So thank you. Always
you're
a pleasure.
Coming across as completely different people, and with these completely different names. I never know.
Yeah, let's go.
David Day says CCL is still 100% the focus.
That's right.
Smalls Kenobi, Happy Foot, Maldonado did better than I expected. Hey, maybe Danny in the chat. David Day attendance. Yeah, what was attendance like in general? Anything else you can tell me before you go? Anything else you can tell me from the stadium experience in general?
It was a little bit like an LA game, in that people showed up extremely late. Like I thought that there was going to be a sport attendance, but it ended up there ended up being more people.
Yeah, I think in the pregame they said that they were expecting 40,000.
If I had to take a wild, is that what they said? 40,000?
In the pregame they said they were expecting 40,000. I don't know. That must have been just like what the ticket sales were.
Yeah, there might have been about 40,000 at its peak, and then by the time the game was done, everybody was gone. Yeah.
Okay, man. Well, any other final words of wisdom before you go?
No, I'm like burned out. I can't believe I can even make any noise with my mouth right now.
It's impressive.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making the noise while you're there and making the trip.
Yeah.
It was very cool to see everybody in the stadium. It was awesome. I think we still represented ourselves quite well at a game like this on the broadcast.
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks for taking the time, even at the stadium. We'll see you again real soon.
Oh, yeah, and Danny and I weren't creeping last time. Like, we just didn't know how to sign off of the meeting, so we accidentally stayed on late, but that was totally unintentional.
You're airing out our dirty laundry.
I think I missed that. I think I was turning on my car when that happened, and we were driving up the 110 when you started razzing us. So, anyways.
No problem. I will do the honors of taking you off stage right now. This is technology talk right now. Thank you for joining the show. If anybody else would like to join the show, please click on the link and the pinned comments. Tell us why you're mad, man. Get upset. I don't care. We got some more comments to look at here. Happy Foot, our performance between Buwanga goal at the end of our performance between the Buwanga goal and the end of the first half. That's a very specific Happy Foot. Sad Foot, everything else. Sifu. Not a lot of love for Sifu here. Uh-oh. Okay. Yep. Sad Foot. Too many bad giveaways. I agree with that. The ball was really bouncing around in this game a lot more than I am used to. It was a little bit of a pinball game. More than it was like someone mentioned it was kind of a boring game. It was like a weird combination of like boring and also like more eventful than it should have been. A lot of chances that just kind of happened to occur weren't really set up. There was a moment toward the end. When was this? I'm thinking like toward the end, maybe like 60, 70th minute in, where it looked like we had the ball moving in a really crisp way. But it was unusual that we were the ball movement looked good. The ball movement didn't look great for either team. I didn't think consistently for long stretches of time. Daniel says, Happy Foot Buwanga got a goal. Sad Foot, he only got one. Yep, we said that. Okay, Happy Foot LAFC pumped the brakes to go all in on US Open Cup. Maybe. Maybe we don't know. People. There's a few other comments, and it's like every game. It's been like this. There's been someone's got a take on whether we care more about MLS or U.S. Open Cup or CCL, and it's like I don't know. With the way that their subs are structured, I don't know how you can really know, like, oh, they do or don't care about this game more than any other game. Like you've got Opoku coming in. Is he a super sub? Is he just being relegated down to the second string? Is he like what is really happening? I think more than likely Trindle is just taking each game, regardless of what kind of game it is, as like what's the best move to make for this game and like who really needs a rest. I don't know that I'm buying that they're gonna like not care about MLS that much and then go all in on CCL. I think they're not gonna not care about CCL, which I think some teams do. AO says, happy football, Wonga blast, sad foot, driving all the way to San Jose to hear 8-year-old girls behind me scream, beat LA for 37 minutes straight. Oh my God, I'm sorry. That is rough. An away loss is tough. Oof. Good for San Jose. They made it a special event. They made it a special event and their fans left happy. It didn't mean too much to us. Yeah, I mean, I think if you listen to our preview episode this week, we were pretty hyped for the idea of a win, but at the same time, it wasn't that different than another game a few weeks back when we were like, if you're going to lose one, you might as well lose this one. So yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, this doesn't feel like a huge speed bump to me. So yeah, I'm not too worried. There's nothing. I think, like I said before, that the happenstance of the game resulted in the loss. I don't think I saw anything in this game that was just like, "Whoa, we're screwed. We're losing it out there." It was just, it didn't go our way. Joseph on Hill Field says, "New sad foot AO here, but didn't come to be with us." That's between you guys. That's not. I feel like I'm not really part of that conversation. I don't need to be. That's okay. I'll go with my official happy foot and sad foot. I do have a happy foot. I think it was big that we got the equalizer quickly in the first half. For some reason, I didn't expect that to happen. We had the goal down, and I for some reason assumed, oh, now we're gonna have to like be in down a goal mode for most of the game until we figure out how to make a move. And I was kind of bracing myself for that kind of a game where we were just like gonna figure out how to get that goal back for most of the game. And instead, we just took care of it and moved on, and that was really refreshing to see. I like that. And my sad foot was everything else. Like you all mentioned, I really think that was such a shitty way to lose. Like, I guess I wouldn't have liked to see us like fully crumble, but that was such a weak tackle to call a PK. Like, he might as well have done it on purpose. Like, why? What a waste, Like he was truly going for the ball. It just sucks. It sucks. What else we got? Additional sad foot. I feel like Dolo's in-game management this season has been mediocre to bad some games in regards to subs. Interesting. That's a bit of a. If you want to come on, you can go audio only if you want. But if you want to come on and unpack that a little bit, it feels like there's a bit to unpack there. I don't know if that take explains itself in a vacuum, but who knows what. I think it's easy to Monday morning quarterback the subs, but yeah, I don't know. Gonna mail my beach ball to FO HQ, please. We'll take all the beach balls. Mail them here. We'll take the beach balls. David Day, like button, love it. Thank you for the reminder. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We do end up throwing away these live streams and putting a bit of a polished edit out instead shortly after this. But please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the channel with your friends. Every little bit you can do, any episode helps for sure. The more we build, the more people we get in these live streams, the more fun it is for everybody. Abel Castillo says, honestly, Sifu and Maldonado were our weakest links. Sifu is leading the unofficial polls in the comments for scapegoat here, I think. Yeah, I don't have anything great to say about Sifu in this game, unfortunately. That was a tough one. Maldonado, I feel like, did play pretty well for most of the game. At the end kind of fell apart, I mentioned before, but I actually think at one point I had Maldonado putting in solid minutes in a happy foot column in my notes for a bit, and at some point I definitely deleted it because I spoke too soon there. Maybe I jinxed the whole thing. Maybe this whole thing's my fault. That's the stage I'm at in the grieving process. This is all my fault. Is that even one of the 5 grieving? What is it, bargaining? I don't know. I don't think blaming the whole thing on yourself is one of them. Oh well. I'm trying to look at my notes here to see. I'll quickly track, we do have the U.S. Open, the Open Cup game for our bets. Travis and I both made bets. I bet an Olympico goal. Travis bet that we'd be. I don't know why he did this, but I think he bet that we'd be down by 2 goals at some point, specifically in the Monterey game. So that doesn't apply. I did think there was a moment. I I think it was in extra time. Bowanga got a corner, and I was like, maybe this is how it all happens. Maybe I get my Olympico goal, but it didn't happen. So that's all out. Jeffrey Steck says, didn't see the game. Disappointed that Apple is cutting down on its free games. That is disappointing to hear. I don't know how often. It seems kind of like roulette. I don't know how often LAFC ended up being the free game, but I don't know. Maybe if you're feeling like this, it's time to put the money up and do it. Throw your Venmo in the comments. Maybe everyone can chip in for Jeffrey Steck's MLS season pass expense. Let's do it. Make it happen. Delta Corp can't come on. Okay, we're gonna do a text to video back and forth on this subject now. Dilsar Corp says can't come on. This is who, for those listening later on, this is who made the comment earlier about Dolo's in-game management. So he says can't come on sadly, but for instance with Sifu and the Philly first leg, but even bringing off Ilie too early and removing a linchpin in our defense that Acosta didn't necessarily fill. I think that's a totally fair point. I think with Acosta and Ilie are both players that, like, I cringe anytime either of them is in and comes off. I think they're the kind of player that, like, there's a lot that they're doing well that nobody's noticing. And anytime, especially anytime Ilie comes off, I'm like, what's going to happen? So I think that's a really good point. But on the flip side, I also think it's reasonable to expect Acosta to fill the gap. And the fact that he didn't is not like, I don't know if that's something that should have been predicted better. Like, he's good. He should have played well. But I see your point, and I think I agree with the fact that, like, there wasn't really a good reason to take Ilya off. So Small Skinobi, the B Rod comparisons are coming out. There was a good break. I feel like we went a few weeks without him, but here we are again. Buke is B Rod 2.0, and it sucks to say that. It does. You know what? At this point, I can't challenge that too much. I can't believe him. I really don't think I wanted to ever have to agree with any B-Rod comparison takes, but here we are. I mean, even at the end there, that very last possession we had, they sent it to Buke in the corner, and I remember being like, "Well, this isn't gonna amount to anything." And it wasn't like he had anything going. Like, it wasn't going to amount to anything, but he still just kind of like dumped it off to the other team. It was just still very weird the way that he played it. I think that Buke is a little better than B-Rod, I'll say, in that most of the opportunities he squanders, he created. And I think I remember feeling like B-Rod was squandering opportunities that were put in his lap a lot more frequently. So maybe that's a little too nuanced to reject the comparison overall. But that's what I'll say. Evo Castillo says our defense were not meshing well. Like, you could see how they were not on the same level. I get we got CCL coming, but still our roster could be built a wee bit more purposefully. I think that's the downside of having to do all of these changes and all the load management that has to take place. The way to keep everyone healthy and to keep winning as much as possible is to have a lot more shuffling happening. And I think as a result, you've got lineups where guys aren't gelling and the dynamic isn't necessarily set in stone, and guys who aren't used to playing together constantly aren't getting into a rhythm over the course of multiple games. I think that's what we're starting to see. And this seems like right. It seems right that it's about at this point in the season where things start to come undone a little bit. I really don't think they're going to come undone more than that, but I think that's a really good point that you make there. Yeah, it did feel a little bit. It felt very ticky tack in the backfield there. See how Dallas is in rain delay. Thank you for the update. That's interesting. Abel says, "Oh my God, freaking Buke! I forgot he even played the damn accuracy of calling him B-Rod 2.0. Not gonna lie, I'm low-key hoping that statement's wrong." Yeah, it's so funny that we even have B-Rod as like a third rail. I think I love it. I hope that Buke doesn't fall into that long term because he's so promising. Like, he really is good. It just sucks if he falls into that. David Day, no mention of Vela. How did he do? Good question. I honestly, I can't say he was a no-show. He was around. It wasn't his game. Yeah. 666 Crew says Vela didn't shoot when he needed to, in my opinion. Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot. I don't think you can point to any moment where it was like he screwed up, but I don't think you're ever going to see Vela like screwing up. I think what we saw is that he didn't like come to our rescue either. So that's not great. Carlos, yo, first live vid. Welcome. Say hey. What's up? Join the live stream if you want. You're here. Thanks for being here. Puke puke. What's up? You said it, not me. Puke puke. It's a little bit, but I let's not give him more blame than he deserves. Like he kind of didn't have much to do with. I don't think he had a lot to do with the loss, really. Athlete's foot, new takers on some corners. Great call, Joseph on Hill Field. Yeah, we are starting to see some variety with corners and even set pieces in general. I think we're starting to see that, or we're just starting to see Bouanga take things more often. That's what I'm noticing. And Bouanga, he got the goal, which was great, but he had a lot of chances today. So I don't want to be putting all our eggs in that basket every game. Like, he can only do so much every game. So Jeffrey Seck, did Opoku play? Yes, he did. He had a couple. You know what? I was about to leave it at that. He did have a couple of decent chances. So yeah, still remains to be seen the Bogusz Opoku situation. In my opinion, I think Bogusz did play pretty well, and Opoku does look good as a spark off the bench. So we'll see how that keeps going. My guess is that he'll keep mixing and matching. Carlos says, "Happy foot, Bouanga blast, medium foot, crazy Eddie. San Jose got honored for his 100th B-Day with a home win. Sad foot, puke puke." Can we set the record for a number of times Puke Puke comes up on an episode? Bogus definitely has a bright future and did a great job for setting up the goal. Definitely got to give him credit for that. Apple Castillo says, also, there was a moment where I think the SJ Ultras tried to emulate Jump for LA chant. It's kind of sad to see that my fellow 3252 couldn't make the noise when we normally do. I think they were out there making noise. I think the broadcast didn't quite pick up. I mean, you heard it on the live stream here. They were shoved into the upper deck, which is insane, but maybe that's what we would have done in the same situation. I don't know. Smalls Kenobi says, athlete's foot, if Opoku had more time, he would have scored. I feel that way too. I think Opoku did what he should have done. I'm not too mad at him. I also noticed on the broadcast, it seemed like every time they cut to San Jose Ultras, like everyone was throwing up middle fingers. They seem like a shitty group. I'm just gonna say that. Maybe I'll catch heat for that. But like it seems like they suck. Maybe we seem like we suck when away fans are looking at the 3252. But as far as I can tell, anytime you see footage of the 3252, it looks fucking awesome. And I don't know. Whenever they look at these fans, it was just like they were talking trash and like screaming and not really doing anything that organized. They just sucked. At that point, it was kind of clear that we were going to lose. I remember seeing that footage, and maybe was just mad. Abel says, I don't know if it's Abel or Abel. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why we didn't play in their house. San Jose wasn't going to let that happen again. Yeah, we mentioned this on the preview episode as well. I think that is part of it. It's like their stadium's small enough that we could truly have taken it over. I really wonder what the numbers would have been like in their stadium with the same group. And I wonder if that would have affected the game, honestly. Like, shit, maybe it was like maybe that's what got them the game, is the move by their office to put it in that stadium. That's crazy that to think that could have actually had that much of an effect. But if you go down the chain reaction down the line, maybe that's what did it. I don't know. Yeah, I'll see if I have any other notes that I want to get through here. And then we can be on our way soon enough. But I'm glad that we got a way to blow off some steam. I did like seeing Maldonado get in the mix on the corners, but it also made me miss Hollingshead. I would have liked to see more Hollingshead. Didn't he get a rest last game or the game before or something? I don't know. Bring him out, right? Rancho, yo in the comments. What's up, Rancho? Welcome. Yeah, I mean, we at this point, it's funny because you start the season saying that we're not deep enough, but at this point, I think our depth we have enough depth that it's tough to make the right call, and it's almost like a curse that we have this depth, because it's like for everyone who's in, there's someone on the bench that it's like, why wasn't that guy in? You can say that every time, right? Still on Chiellini watch. We've still got search parties out looking for him. We're not sure where he's at. I'm sure he'll turn up at some point. Another thing I'd like to throw out there, if anybody has any suggestions for Bet It and Forget It for any bets, I'm happy to take some bets and just make them mine. I've won at this point. I don't know if you're not familiar with the podcast, but Travis and I do a segment where we make a completely outlandish bet. We put $5 in the pot and it's cumulative, so it rolls over to the next game when neither bet cashes. But tweet at me, put them in the comments, however you want to do it. If you've got an idea for a bet, I'm happy to take it on as my own and see if it can do any good. I'm just looking to have some fun ideas. This one, I really wanted the Olympico goal. Maybe it'll happen in Monterey. We've still got that game. It'll be very interesting as contrast to this game to see how we play that game, like what the strategy is, how we come out. I have a feeling, I'll just predict now because why the fuck not? I have a feeling we're just going to take all our anger out on them and just completely blow them out. So we'll see. Rancho in the comments, Happy Foot, we finally got this L out of the way. Happy Foot number 2, we can now go undefeated the rest of the season. Very optimistic. I love it. Yeah, it had to happen at some point. Of all the ways that a loss could have happened, I feel like the fallout is pretty minimal here compared to those other ways. So yeah. TH in the comments, hey bro, you keeping up with Lakers Warriors too? Is TH Travis Helwig? We'll never know. There's no way to know. We don't know. I don't know. Are we keeping up with Lakers? I'm not keeping up with Lakers Warriors. If anybody has any Lakers updates, throw it in the comments. A mysterious figure by the name of TH, who knows who he is, where he is, what he's doing right now, would like to know what's going on with Lakers Warriors, which is another NorCal SoCal matchup. Maybe it could go better in that game, but I think Rancho's 2 happy feet after a loss is a good optimistic note to end on here as we wind down. If anybody's got any final comments, you can throw them in there. Otherwise, here we are at the end. Oh, we've got an outlandish bet here. Okay, from Abel Castillo. I have an outlandish bet for you. LAFC loses to SKC on Wednesday. If they're still the worst team, then yeah, pretty outlandish. Even if Lakers win, we'd have to go against the winner between Suns Denver. This is 2 separate comments that I just repeated as one. So we'll unpack that in the recording. Love it. Rancho, maybe I'll call in next post show. Love you. Call in. You can call in right now if you want. No, we're going to wind down. Call in next time. That'll be fun. Guys, thank you so much for joining the show and being here after a tough loss. I'm glad we had a nice little funeral of sorts, didn't we? Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for anybody who's subscribing, rating, reviewing. I didn't learn until recently that you can rate and review on Spotify and not just Apple Podcasts. Who knew? That's a cool thing. Feel free to do that. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. We're everywhere. Wherever you are, feel free to follow us there. Share our podcast with your friend. Let's see how big we can grow this thing. We're always happy to take feedback too if you've got any ideas for anything that you'd like to see more of or less of on the show. Thank you all for joining us. We will have a preview out for the next game next week. Look out for that. This one will be out shortly. And tell your friends. We'll see what happens in Monterey. It'll be a good one. I'll see you back at BMO. I love you. Goodbye, everybody. Take care. Are you still here? Okay, I love you. Bye.